Hello, friends. Good evening. Here we are with another episode of our review of All Football World Cup. So, today we will be reviewing 1938 FIFA World Cup. Now, that World Cup took place in France from 4th to 10th June 1938. This was the time when Second World War was going on, and from the start there was some controversy because, as we discussed in our previous episode, the World Cup of 1934 it took place in Italy, and the first World Cup in 1930 took place in Uruguay. So it was turn of South America to host the World Cup, but the FIFA gave France to host the 1938 World Cup. So on this two countries from South America, Uruguay, which was the champion of 1930, and Argentina, they refused to come to France to play that World Cup. So Uruguay, who was champion in 1930, he missed the 1934 and 1938 World Cup. So France was the host of 1938 World Cup, and again Italy was the champion of this World Cup. 16 teams, like previous 1934 World Cup, participated in this World Cup, and they were qualified from different qualifying games. Out of these 15 team, one team from South America, Brazil, one from North America, Cuba. First time Cuba was playing the World Cup, and this was the only time Cuba has played FIFA World Cup. And third team was interestingly called as Dutch East Indies. Dutch East Indies. Now you will ask me, what is this country? You know this country, but its name was at that time was Dutch East Indies. This country is now called as Indonesia because Indonesia at that time was colonized by the Dutch Netherlands people, and they participated, qualified for the 1938 World Cup. This is the only time when Indonesia qualified for the Football World Cup. Like 1934, the format was of the tournament was direct knockout game. 16 teams they were divided. They were used to play with each other. But another important thing happened. As you know, the Second World War was started, and Adolf Hitler was invading the European country, and Hitler it invaded the Austria, the country in the Europe, who qualified for the 1938 World Cup. Now Austria becomes the part of Germany, and Germany is already qualified as well for the World Cup. So the Austrian team refused to play the World Cup because they were invaded by Germans. And not only Germans, they invaded them, but they took their good players to include them in the German teams. What happened to that? Despite of taking those players, Germany lost the knockout game. First match, they were out of the 1938 FIFA World Cup, and this is the only time that Germans they have been out of the FIFA World Cup in their first round. So moving back to the knockout stages, the 8 countries which won the World Cup, which went to the quarter-final stages, were Italy, Brazil, Hungary, Czechoslovakia, Sweden, Cuba. They were all moved on to the quarter-final stages. Another thing was that, like in 1934 World Cup, if a knockout game is tied at the score, 30 minutes were given to decide the game. But in 30 minutes, if it is not decided, the match will be replayed next day. There were no penalties. Shootout was started at that time. So just to summarize the results of the quarterfinal, I will just see my okay. The Italy and France, they played the quarterfinal, which Italy won by 3-1. Brazil and Czechoslovakia, they played the quarterfinal, which Brazil won by 2 goals to 1. Hungary defeated Switzerland by 2 goals to 0, and Sweden defeated Cuba by 8 goals to 0. So this set the semi-final between Brazil and Italy. This is the first match between these two great nations who went on to win 4 World Cups and 9 World Cups between them. 5 by Brazil, 4 by Italy. And still we are witnessing their epic games. In that game, the Italy defeated the Brazil by 2 goals to 1. And in the other semi-final, Hungary defeated the Sweden by 5 goals to 1. So this set the final between Italy and Hungary. Now, one interesting thing before the final, as you know, Italy at that time was ruled by the fascist dictator Benito Mussolini. He sent one message to the to the Italian coach, and he was the Vittorio Visposo. He was the he was the Italian coach who won the 1934 World Cup, and Benito Mussolini, the dictator, he sent message to the Italian team: win or die there, win or die there. So this means if you lose, don't come to Italy. Later on, I think some of the players who were alive after after long time, they interviewed that this was a fake news. Uh, but you never know. Means you can expect anything from these dictators. So final, it took place on 19th June 1938 in the Paris in France, which was won by Italy by 4-2 goals. So Italy became the first country to win the World Cup in 2 consecutive occasions, 1934 and 1938. This is repeated only by Brazil in 1958 and 1962. No other country has won the World Cup continuously twice. So this was the historic World Cup, and then after this 1938 World Cups, there was a gap of 12 years because of the Second World War, and the next fourth FIFA World Cup, it took place in Brazil in South America. So Italy was champion from 1934 till 1950. 16 years Italy was World Cup champion. And in our next episode, we will be discussing the 1950 FIFA World Cup Brazil, and there were many interesting things in that World Cup. We hope you enjoying our this series. Please subscribe and like our channel and share these videos with your friends who love the football, and we are eagerly waiting 2026 FIFA World Cup in United States, Mexico and Canada. So see you soon inshallah. Thank you. Have a nice day. Bye bye.